Good morning, Paul. It's the 1st of December, Thursday. Here's the heads up brief for today.
Hi, Uday. Great, thanks. Go ahead.
Paul, in Indonesia, Islamist groups will gather in Jakarta tomorrow. They're trying to be a politically influential force again ahead of the 2024 elections.
Okay, that's very interesting because typically, though, they have massive rallies, results of 20 odd years of democratically run elections show that people actually don't vote along religious or Islamic paths. But it is interesting that they're still giving it their best shot. Thanks, Uday.
Yep. Paul, in Papua and Yahukimo Regency and the Papuan Highlands, the West Papua National Liberation Army killed one BRIMOB personnel and injured two others yesterday.
Yeah, could you get someone to just map that for me and send it? Is that over near the PNG border? I'm not exactly sure where that is.
This is west of Nduga, Paul, around Nduga, so not between Mika
Okay.
and yeah.
Okay, yeah, we are just talking about that yesterday, that the leadership of the TPNPB are very much run by Nduga. Um, they see themselves as military generals, but what they probably are better described as is psychopathic, troubled criminal youth. Thanks, Renee. That clarifies where it is.
Right, Paul. Paul, in Myanmar, the military reopened road and water connections in Rakhine State after a ceasefire between the military and the Arakan army came into place on November 26th. This year, there have been increasing clashes between them, but it seems that tensions are easing between the Arakan army and military.
Well, hopefully it holds up. I mean, after the Wa State Army, the Arakan Army is probably the next biggest. And they cut a deal with the Wa State a long, long time ago. So hopefully that trend will continue in terms of cutting peace deals with the ethnic armed organisations. They're trying to cut a peace deal with a big lobby of them, but the major ones kept out of that because they wanted to negotiate their own deal and not be part of an association of weaker ethnic armed organisations. Obviously, the government's got a lot going on with the People's Defence Force at the moment, which adds a lot of complexity to their risk adversaries. So hopefully this will be a trend in terms of peace deals with ethnic armed organisations. Only time will tell whether that is the case and also how long it lasts with the Arakan Army before the Myanmar junta does something that it opens the door again. Thanks, Uday.
Right, Paul. Something I thought you'd find interesting. Approximately 500 companies across industries have registered or re-domiciled in Singapore over the last year. These are Chinese companies, and this is in light of the U.S. and China tensions.
Yeah, well, that's incredible. In that time frame, for 500 companies to change their domiciles, quite incredible. Certainly shows a massive trend line. I mean, that's on the back of already, probably hundreds, if not thousands, of Western companies, both small, medium, and large enterprises relocating from either Hong Kong, Shanghai, or Beijing. Obviously, Singapore even has advantages over other alternatives in Asia Pacific, such as the major cities in Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, but also Auckland. Just don't of Singapore's got two things going for it. One is just a brilliant location and, of course, wonderful governance. But its governance is so clear and so efficient. The Australian government's, famous for putting most of their money into developing sports and bureaucracies. So Singapore is really going to reap the benefits of this USA-China clash by simply having a better letter of law, not allowing politicians and public servants to be corrupt, and just giving them a rap over the knuckles. So this is going to be a very powerful trend and a wonderful thing for Singapore, and a bit of a kick up the date for the more advanced, supposedly more advanced economies that think they have a right to be leaders. So well done. Kudos to Singapore.
Right, Paul. Yeah. In Papua New Guinea, a special anti-crime operation will continue for Christmas and New Year in Port Moresby. where when normally there is a trend of increase in crime in the city.
Well, Papua New Guinea's kind of getting held together by having, some a run of very, very good police commissioners. Unfortunately, though, they end up getting to hold the bag. So hopefully, at some point, the politicians and the government budgets may actually decide to support public commissions rather than lay the weight of the world to rescue upon their shoulders. Thank you. And in EMEA or South Asia?
Yeah, Paul. So in South Asia, in Pakistan, Paul, the Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan, which we've been talking about on a few of these heads-up briefings recently, conducted a suicide bombing attack in Quetta in Balochistan yesterday, killing 4 people and injuring nearly 30 people. This is the first major attack they have done, and it comes a couple days after they called off their ceasefire and told their fighters to attack the Pakistani state. So this is quite a concerning development.
Yeah, look, and we just spoke about that yesterday. So it shows a very strong commitment to the leadership and also a strong ability to implement um, operations. I mean, within 24, 48 hours to listen to the command, peace deals off. Obviously, that had been teed up in advance, but it does show a lot of unity, which is a major concern. Of course, the whole Baluchistan region and the capability of the rebels there is a very, very credible fighting force. Thank you.
Yep. Paul, in Bangladesh yesterday, 8 opposition party members and supporters were injured in an attack on their political rally when unidentified people threw petrol bombs on them. So it was likely a politically motivated attack. We're going to see more of this over the next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a messy lead up to the next election, I fear. Thank you.
Paul, in Afghanistan, at least 17 people were killed and 26 people were injured in a bomb blast in Aibak city, which is about 200 kilometers northwest of Kabul. No group has claimed responsibility so far, but it's likely to be Islamic State Khorasan province.
All right, thank you.
Lastly, for the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region, in Spain, 1 person was injured by a letter bomb at the Ukrainian embassy in Madrid yesterday. A Spanish arms manufacturer also received a similar letter bomb shortly after. The arms manufacturer creates C-90 rocket-propelled grenade launchers, which Spain has sent to Ukraine to use against Russia.